Today, I'm not just going to talk about money. I'm going to ask you to command it. Yes, command your money to multiply forever. Why? Because money listens. The question is, what are you telling it? You see, money is not your master, it's your servant. It goes where it's honored, it stays where it's welcomed, and it multiplies where it's spoken to with authority. You've been taught to chase money, but what if I told you, you were never meant to chase it? You were meant to call it, just as the sun doesn't beg to shine, it just shines. You don't beg for wealth, you command it with joy. Money is not a mystery, it's not random, it's not wicked or divine, it's neutral but deeply responsive. You don't have to chase it, compete for it, or suffer for it, because in truth, money obeys spiritual law. Yes, read that again. Money doesn't answer to hustle or chaos, it doesn't bend to fear or control. It aligns itself with law, universal law, spiritual law, and when you understand that law, you stop begging, stressing, doubting, and start commanding, trusting, flowing. Just like gravity pulls an object to the ground without exception, spiritual law governs how money comes into your life, with precision, not luck. So ask yourself this: what spiritual signals are you sending about money every day? Do you treat it like a friend or a thief? Do you invite it with clarity or repel it with worry? Let's make something perfectly clear. Money is a reflection of the energetic relationship you hold with yourself, with Source, and with the spoken word. If you speak lack, feel lack, expect lack, money hears that and it responds. If you feel guilty about having it, it hides. If you say, I never have enough, you're not just describing your reality, you're writing the next chapter. The spiritual law doesn't care whether you speak faith or fear, it simply delivers on your dominant belief. That's how powerful you are. You see, there is a divine source of infinite supply, and money is one of the instruments that Source uses to circulate provision. It is not separate from the spiritual, it serves the spiritual. It's the world's most misunderstood servant, and you, as a spiritual being, have the right, no, the responsibility, to command it under divine law. When you begin to understand that money follows energy, not effort, you'll stop exhausting yourself trying to figure it out. You'll stop crying over numbers in a bank account that only reflect yesterday's thoughts. You'll stop playing by man-made scarcity rules and start aligning with the universal principle of abundance now. Because here's the law: what you impress upon the subconscious, the universe expresses through form. And money is one of those forms. So if you say, money comes to me easily, freely, and continually, and you say it with emotion, with belief, guess what? It must obey. It's not a maybe, it's law. Just like 2 + 2 = 4. The law doesn't ask for credentials or background. It doesn't care about your past mistakes, your current debt, or what your parents believed. It cares only about the vibration you're transmitting now. Let me ask you something. Do you remember the last time you had an unexpected bill and said, "Where am I going to get the money for this?" That phrase, that panic, that fear, that's a command too. You didn't realize it, but you were declaring to spiritual law, I don't know where money comes from. I don't believe supply is infinite. I believe I'm in trouble. And the law said, as you believe, so shall it be. Now, flip the scene. What if the next time a need arose, you boldly said, this bill is already paid by the law of abundance. Money rushes to me now to meet every need in divine timing. The source of my supply is never limited, only my belief has been. Do you feel that shift? That's the difference between fear-based reaction and faith-based command. Money doesn't come because you need it. It comes because you expect it, because you believe for it, because you've invited it under spiritual law. Think of it this way. When you plant an apple seed, you don't go outside 2 hours later screaming, "Where's my tree?" You know, without any doubt, that the tree is growing even if unseen. That's how spiritual law works. You plant affirmations, intentions, and emotions like seeds, and money grows as one of its fruits. So why don't we treat finances with the same patience and faith Because we've been taught wrong. We've been programmed with beliefs like, money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard for every dollar. Rich people are greedy. It's not spiritual to want money. Nonsense. Money grows faster than trees when aligned with spiritual law. And working hard without alignment leads only to burn out, not breakthrough. We are not here to suffer to be worthy of supply. We are here to receive, to circulate, to command with love. When you start recognizing that your thoughts are financial blueprints and your words are wealth architects, you realize you've been designing your own economy all along. You're not a victim of the economy. You're the creator of your own economy. Every time you say, I bless this money, you are watering the soil. Every time you say, I expect more money than I can spend, you are aligning with overflow. And every time you say, money comes to me by spiritual law, you are activating one of the oldest, truest laws of the universe. So if you want more money, don't just ask, align. If you want financial peace, don't just hope. Command. If you want generational wealth, don't just hustle, decree it, because money doesn't obey stress. It doesn't obey panic. It doesn't obey victimhood. It obeys spiritual law. And the law is activated through belief, spoken word, gratitude, generosity, and alignment with your highest self. Speak to it now. Don't wait until you have enough. That's backwards. Say today, I am a money magnet under divine law. Every dollar I touch multiplies in perfect circulation. I trust in the law of abundance more than I trust in numbers. Can you feel it? That power you're remembering, that's not just confidence. It's authority. You were never meant to be afraid of money. You were meant to govern it. Let the others keep chasing. Let the world keep doubting. But you will rise in knowing that the money you desire already exists in spiritual form, and it's waiting for you to claim it by law. Every word you speak about money is magnetic. It either pulls wealth toward you or pushes it away. Let that sink in. Your mouth is your money maker, not in theory, not metaphorically, but literally. What are you telling your money every day? Because you may not realize this, but your words are on the payroll. They are working 24/7, planting seeds in your subconscious and commanding the universe to shape your reality. Speak fear, reap lack. Speak wealth, reap overflow. It's that simple and that serious. Have you ever said something like, I can't afford that? Money doesn't grow on trees. I'm always broke. It's just not in the budget. Stop right there. Those aren't harmless phrases. They're financial spells. You cast them with your lips, and they build limitations with bricks of belief. You're not just stating facts. You're creating futures, and often you're reinforcing the very lack you're trying to escape. Why does this happen? Because the universe listens to vibration, not intention. You may want abundance, but if your words reflect fear, doubt, or struggle, then that is what the universe delivers. Not because you're being punished, but because you are operating by law, and the law is exact. Just like a seed always produces after its kind, your words produce after their kind. So if you want wealth, speak wealth. If you want increase, speak increase. If you want miracles, speak in miracles, not maintenance. Words are spiritual currency. They're vibrational codes. When you speak, you activate creation. You don't wait for money to appear before you say you're abundant. You say you're abundant, and then money comes. Why? Because your words send instructions. Money, after all, is obedient. It's waiting for its next command. What are you instructing it to do? Too many people complain about bills. All I do is work to pay bills. I never have anything left after expenses. Guess what? They just gave the law its assignment. Their words programmed a cycle. They'll work hard, pay bills, and repeat, because that's what they've told their finances to do. But someone else is saying, money flows to me from known and unknown sources. Every bill I pay creates a vacuum for greater supply. I always have more than enough. And what happens? The magnetic pull of their words activates opportunities, favor, unexpected checks, divine ideas. They're not lucky, they're lawful. You see, words are not descriptions, they're declarations, and wealth doesn't just respond to your bank account, it responds to your vocabulary. Speak lack, you lower your vibration. Speak abundance, you raise your frequency and become a match for financial miracles. Even your casual words matter. Think about how often you joke about being broke, or how easily you say, "I can't." The subconscious doesn't understand sarcasm. It hears that and says, "Okay, broke is what we're choosing." But when you begin to speak with conscious authority, something shifts. You take your words out of neutral and shift them into creation mode. You stop gossiping about lack and start governing wealth. You begin to talk as if you are already walking in overflow, and the universe races to catch up with your speech. Try this exercise, open your wallet, even if it's empty, and say, "You are always full. You are a channel for limitless money." Then say to your bank app, "You increase daily. You overflow continually. I trust the law of expansion." Does that sound strange? Good. Most miracles begin where logic ends. You don't wait until you see it to speak it. That's backwards. That's the way the world thinks. But spiritual law operates differently. You speak it, boldly, joyfully, consistently, and then you see it, because words are containers. They carry faith or fear. They carry wealth or worry. They carry instructions for your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind never argues. It just obeys. So if you say, "I always struggle," the subconscious says, "Okay, let's create more struggle." If you say, "I am a money magnet," it says, "Yes, let's organize reality to support that truth." Now let's take it further. What happens when you start speaking about money with praise instead of panic, gratitude instead of grumbling, declaration instead of desperation? Your whole financial atmosphere changes. Suddenly, you aren't chasing money. You're hosting it. You're creating a hospitable environment for wealth to dwell. And guess what? Money likes to be appreciated. It loves attention. It flows where it's celebrated, not tolerated. Why do so many people repel money without realizing it? Because they curse it. They say it's hard to earn, evil to have, impossible to keep. And then they wonder why it never stays. Would you stay where you're insulted every day? Money doesn't need your worship, but it does require your respect. You respect it by speaking well of it. You bless it, honor it, command it with clarity. And you never use your words to limit its flow. Let's get practical. Start your day with declarations like, "Money comes to me while I sleep. Every word I speak multiplies my income. Opportunities to receive are always finding me." Then, when you face expenses, don't complain. Say, "Thank you, money, for showing up again. As I release you, I command you to return multiplied." Do you feel how different that energy is? That's spiritual alignment in action. And remember, the law is exact. You don't get what you want, you get what you speak consistently. You don't manifest what you wish, you manifest what you boldly affirm. So the next time someone says, "How are your finances?" don't answer from your bank balance. Answer from your belief system. Say with certainty, "My finances are thriving. Money is increasing even now. I live in divine surplus." You are not being unrealistic. You are being unstoppable. You are not denying reality. You are designing a new one. So speak it even when you don't see it. Speak it especially when you don't feel it. That's when the words go to work the fastest. That's when the magnet charges with power. Why? Because your words carry your faith signature. And the universe recognizes that frequency. So from now on, speak like a wealthy soul. Talk like someone who knows the law. Declare with the authority of someone who remembers that creation begins with vibration, and vibration begins with voice. You don't need louder effort, you need louder belief, and the louder your belief, the clearer your words. So go ahead, speak like money has ears, because it does, and the moment you say, "Wealth, come to me now," it begins racing toward you by spiritual law, not by chance. Money doesn't manifest by wishing. It doesn't multiply through worry. It responds to faith. Yes, Faith is your real currency, not the digits in your account, not the number of hours you work, not the coins in your pocket. Faith is the invisible force that commands visible provision. What is faith, really? It's not blind hope. It's not desperate optimism. It's the unshakable knowing that what you cannot yet see is already on its way. And even more than that, it's yours now. You don't wait to believe when the money appears. You believe first, and then the money obeys. That's the law. In this realm of spiritual economics, faith is more valuable than a paycheck, because faith produces paychecks. It's the spiritual soil where wealth takes root. If you try to manifest abundance with a heart full of doubt, you'll block it every time. You can say all the right affirmations, but if deep down you're thinking, I don't think this will really work, you've just neutralized your own command. Do you see how powerful your inner state is? The world teaches you that your job is your supply, that your income is your source, that you must chase, compete, struggle. But the spiritual law says your faith is your faucet. Your belief is your bank. Your expectation is your income stream. Let's go deeper. Faith activates invisible supply. Before you see the money, before you get the offer, before the contract is signed, you have to believe it's already done. Because that belief is the mold, the blueprint, the instruction set for the universe to deliver exactly what you're aligned with. You don't walk by sight, you walk by spiritual vision, and that vision is called faith. When you declare, my supply is unlimited, money flows to me from every direction, you're not lying, you're aligning. You're choosing to believe in spiritual truth rather than temporary appearance. Faith isn't about denying reality. It's about commanding it to shift. Do you remember the last time you needed money fast? Maybe rent was due or an emergency came up. And in that moment, fear rushed in. What if I don't have enough? But then somehow, someway, provision appeared. A refund, a favor, a friend, a miracle that wasn't coincidence. That was faith moving faster than fear. Even if you had only a mustard seed of belief, it was enough. The law doesn't require volume. It requires certainty. You can whisper, I believe, and the law responds like a lion. But you can shout affirmations while doubting them in your heart, and nothing happens. Why? Because it's not about noise, it's about alignment. Let's be honest. Many people think faith is passive, that you sit and wait and hope something happens. But real faith is active. Real faith speaks. Real faith walks through closed doors as if they're already open. Faith doesn't say, I hope I get the money. Faith says, the money is mine now, by divine right. Faith doesn't say, maybe one day I'll be wealthy. Faith says, I am already wealthy. I'm just watching the evidence catch up. That's not delusion, that's dominion. That's you stepping into your creative authority, speaking from your higher self, and trusting the process of spiritual law. Think of it this way. Faith is like spiritual Wi-Fi. Just because you can't see, it doesn't mean it's not there. But if your belief is weak, if your doubt is louder than your trust, it's like turning off the signal. You can't download abundance from the cloud of source with a disconnected belief system. So how do you build faith when fear is louder? You feed it daily. You speak life into your own soul. You rehearse truth louder than facts. You use your imagination like a muscle and visualize outcomes until they feel real. If you're facing a bill, don't stare at it in fear. Hold it in your hand and say, this is already paid by divine supply. I trust the law to do its perfect work. When you're low on cash, don't declare scarcity. Declare, I am wealthy beyond this moment. My money is on the way now. Do you hear how faith speaks? It doesn't beg, it doesn't whisper, it declares, it acts, it commands, and in doing so, it becomes magnetic to money, solutions, support, miracles. Because here's what most people miss. Faith is not just belief, it's energy. And that energy emits a frequency. That frequency is what the law responds to. Not desperation, not anxiety, not guilt, frequency, vibration, certainty. If you walk around saying, I hope I can afford this someday, that's hesitation. But if you say, My wealth expands every day. I expect the unexpected. That's faith in motion. That's spiritual magnetism turned all the way up. Look around you. Every prosperous person you see, whether they know it or not, has activated faith at some level. Faith in their value, faith in their work, faith in the law of circulation. They believed they could have more before they saw more, and so they did, and you have that same power, but maybe your faith has been sleeping. Maybe it's been bruised by past disappointments. Maybe you tried once and it didn't work, so you backed down, stopped declaring, gave up. But faith doesn't retire. It doesn't expire. It waits patiently. And the moment you say, I'm ready to believe again, it rises inside you like a fire that never forgot how to burn. Speak to that flame, fan it, feed it. Say, I believe in wealth even when I don't see it. I trust the law more than my fear. My belief is stronger than my doubt, and my faith is making me rich. Because every great financial breakthrough begins not in the bank, but in the belief system. If you see yourself as broke, you'll stay broke. If you see yourself as abundant, the universe rushes to fill that identity with proof. So stop asking, where will the money come from? That's not your job. Your job is to believe. Your job is to speak. Your job is to expect it, bless it, and prepare for it. The how is handled by higher intelligence. The when is handled by divine timing. But the belief, that's on you. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It's the pipeline through which miracles travel. And every time you activate it, your wealth responds, not next year, now. Because when you walk by faith, you walk in authority. And when you command in faith, money listens. Yes, you read that right. Speak to your wallet, not as a joke, not with sarcasm, not out of desperation, but with deliberate spiritual authority. Your wallet, your purse, your bank account, your financial apps, every container of your money life is more than a storage unit. It's an energetic vessel, and your words are either activating it or depleting it. You may think, why would I talk to my wallet? It's empty. But that's the whole point. If you only speak what is, you keep what is. But if you speak what you desire to see, you begin creating what is yet unseen. That's how spiritual law works. The spoken word shapes the invisible into visible form. When you say, I never have enough, your wall, it hears it. When you say, money is always leaving me, your bank account takes that as truth. When you open your purse, sigh, and groan, ugh, I'm broke again, you've just written a script your finances must follow. Sound dramatic, maybe, but it's also deeply spiritual and deeply accurate. You are the authority over your money life, and your words are your tools of creation. So speak with power, speak with purpose. Speak to your money like it's alive, because energetically it is. Your wall, it is listening. Your credit cards are listening. Your cash is listening. The money you haven't even met yet is listening, waiting to know, is it safe to come into your life? Will it be welcomed, or will it be cursed, wasted, ignored, feared? When you speak to your wallet, you're not performing magic. You're engaging in divine dialogue. You're using your voice to create vibration. That vibration becomes signal. That signal becomes reality. It's not superstition. It's spiritual engineering. The spoken word is the trigger for manifestation. Do you remember the last time you opened your wallet and saw only a few notes? Did you speak disappointment into it? Did you say, ugh, that's all I have left? If so, you were rehearsing scarcity. That's not just a reaction. It's a command to your subconscious and to spiritual law. This is normal. Repeat this experience. But what if you said, even in that moment, I bless this money. You are multiplying even now. Thank you, wallet, for always carrying more than enough. I expect unexpected income today, and you're going to hold it. Can you feel the difference? One is complaint, the other is creation. This is not about pretending or playing make-believe. It's about reprogramming your financial atmosphere. Your words are like a thermostat. If you keep them set at fear, lack, and doubt, you'll stay cold. But the moment you turn up the heat with declarations of wealth, belief, and expansion, Your outer reality shifts to match your inner one. Your money doesn't just live in your bank. It lives in your mind, your emotions, your words, your expectations. And your wall, it is the altar where those beliefs get expressed. So bless your wallet like it holds sacred treasure, even when it seems empty. Why? Because spiritual law doesn't respond to what's there. It responds to what you speak, what you believe, what you expect. Try this right now. Open your wallet, place your hand on it, and say, "You are always full, you are always ready, you are a magnet for miracles. Every time I open you, I find more than I expect." Money loves to live here. Money enjoys multiplying in this space. Do you see what you're doing? You're breaking the habit of fear-based interaction with money. You're turning a passive moment into an activating ritual. Instead of letting your wall, it become a place of dread, turn it into a place of declaration. Let's take it further. When you go to pay for something, even a bill, even groceries, don't sigh, don't shrink, don't resent it. Instead, bless it. Speak with spiritual precision. As I spend, I circulate. As I give, I receive. This money returns to me multiplied. Because every dollar you release with gratitude comes back with friends. Money, after all, wants to feel honored, not tolerated. It doesn't thrive in guilt, shame, or tension. It thrives in clarity, command, and joy. So when you speak to your wallet with certainty and celebration, you're making it a portal for prosperity. Most people unknowingly make their wall. It's a graveyard. They store expired cards, old receipts, reminders of financial fear. They treat it like a storage box instead of a vessel of wealth. Clean it out. Clear it energetically, and as you do, speak life into it. Say, "This wall, it carries the wealth of kings and queens. This is a sanctuary for abundance. This is the home where money feels honored and safe." Why does this work? Because everything responds to intention. Objects carry energy. Your phone, your bag, your wallet. They all hold your vibration. When you raise it, they respond. Your whole environment becomes a match for increase. Even your financial apps can be spoken to. That screen, it's not just data. It's a mirror of belief. When you open your account, don't gasp or groan. Say, "I bless these digits. I multiply them now by divine law. Every number here is doubling even as I speak. This account reflects my alignment with overflow." You must talk to your money like it listens, because it does. Money is energy. Energy is vibration. Vibration is shaped by voice. So why are you silent? Why are you neutral when you should be powerful? Speak daily, speak boldly, speak creatively. Speak like a person who knows that their words are not just sounds. They are signals to the universe. From now on, treat your wallet like an altar. Bless it every morning. Thank it every night. Carry it with pride, not fear. And if you're tempted to say something like "I'm broke," stop, replace it with "I'm building wealth. I am in a season of multiplication. I expect money miracles this week." Your subconscious will believe whatever you say the most. Make sure what you say is worthy of your future. Don't let your wall, it become a home for old stories of struggle. Let it become a chamber of new declarations. The more you bless it, the more it holds. The more you command it, the more it listens. The more you speak to it with love and power, the more it becomes a channel, not a container, for divine supply. So go ahead, speak to your wallet. Not because it's magic, but because it's magnetic, and every word you speak into it is drawing money toward you. Now, by law, forever. Giving isn't subtraction. It's multiplication in disguise. Yes, what you give returns to you multiplied. And not later, not maybe, not conditionally, spiritually, energetically, inevitably. The law of circulation demands it. The universe does not operate in stillness or hoarding. It flows, it circulates, it expands. When you give, you move into alignment with the law of increase. So why do people fear giving? Why do they tighten their fists, close their wallets, or resent generosity? Especially when money feels tight. Because they were taught a lie, that giving is losing, but in truth, giving is commanding wealth to flow through you. and back to you, multiplied. Money is like water. Stagnant water becomes toxic. Flowing water nourishes everything it touches. Your money, when released joyfully, becomes a channel of spiritual power, not a sacrifice. When you give freely, with no fear, no guilt, no pressure, you unlock a divine principle. You declare, I am not afraid of lack. I trust in the source of all supply. I give because I have, and because I give, I always will. That's not just generosity, it's spiritual mastery. The truth is, you're never giving away money. You're sending it on a mission. It may leave your hand, but it never leaves your energetic field. It circles back, carrying more. That is the divine boomerang of blessing. It never forgets where it came from, and it always returns home. But if you give while doubting, worrying, resenting, or calculating, you interrupt the flow. You cannot give out of fear and expect joy. You cannot give out of duty and expect miracles. The law is exact. Your motive becomes the multiplier. Ask yourself, what energy do I give from? Do I give to impress out of obligation? Or do I give because I know that the more I release, the more I receive? The law of increase responds to joyful, intentional, fearless giving. Giving from fullness, not fear. Giving from vision, not scarcity. When you give like that, the universe opens channels you didn't know existed. It might come back as money, yes, but it also might return as opportunity, favor, sudden debt cancellation, a raise, an inheritance, a miracle you could never have planned. So how do you give like this? How do you give freely, even when your logical mind screams, hold on to every penny? You give by faith, not by sight. You give by principle, not pressure. You say, this dollar is not gone. It is multiplied. As I sow, I reap. As I release, I rise. I cannot outgive the source of all wealth. Don't underestimate the power of even small giving. The size doesn't matter. The energy does. $1 offering given in belief will do more for your finances than $100 given in fear, because the universe reads vibration, not value. Let's get practical. The next time you pay a bill, don't grumble. Don't say, there goes more money. Instead say, I bless this money. I release it joyfully. I expect a multiplied return. You're not losing. You're circulating. You're not being depleted. You're being expanded. When you give to a person, bless them. Say silently, as I give this to you, I give it to the infinite source within you. I trust that what leaves my hands flows back to me blessed and multiplied. This is spiritual economics. This is how wealthy people think, not just materially rich, but spiritually fluent in abundance. They don't cling to money. They don't fear it leaving. They know it's never gone. It's simply moving, and movement is where miracles begin. You are not meant to hoard money. That's a poverty mindset disguised as wisdom. Hoarding is fear. Circulation is faith. Even the ocean gives its waves and they return. Even the sun gives light endlessly and never runs out. So why would you be the only creature in creation designed to withhold? You were born to give, and therefore born to receive without limit. Let's talk about tithing, a concept often misunderstood and misused. Tithing isn't a tax, it's a statement of trust. When you give the first portion of your income, not out of law, but out of love, you are declaring, my source is spiritual. This job is a channel, not the supplier. I give back to the infinite, knowing it gives to me first. You can tithe to where you are spiritually fed, a person, a ministry, an organization, a cause. But don't do it in fear. Do it in celebration. Don't say, I hope this works. Say, as I give, I claim the promise of multiplied increase. This tithe is a seed, and the harvest is already on its way. Some say, I'll give more when I have more. But that's like saying, I'll plant seeds when I see fruit. You don't wait to give. You give to unlock the next level of supply. If you hold your money tight, afraid to let it go, you send this message to the universe. I don't trust you. I don't believe more is coming. I must protect what I have. And the law replies, as you believe, so shall it be. But when you give freely, you say, there's always more. I am connected to unlimited supply. I give boldly because I live boldly. And again, the law responds, as you believe, so shall it be. This is how the law of multiplication works. The moment you give in faith, the harvest begins, even if you don't see it yet. Just like planting a seed, you don't doubt it because you can't see the sprout. You water it, you bless it, you expect it, and one day it shows up. So start giving, not just money, but energy, encouragement, wisdom, praise, attention. Give what you want more of, because the law doesn't return what you deserve. It returns what you send out. Say this daily: I give with joy, and I receive with ease. Every gift I give multiplies and returns to me from unexpected directions. I am a vessel of abundance, and my supply cannot run dry. This is not fluff. This is not fantasy. This is law, divine law, irrefutable, unbreakable, unstoppable. What you release in joy comes back as overflow. The world teaches you to grasp. Spirit teaches you to give. The world says, protect what's yours. Spirit says, circulate what's divine. Which will you choose? Because the giver always becomes the receiver. Sooner, greater, richer. Debt is not your destiny. It is not your identity. It is not your punishment. Debt is just a shadow, and like all shadows, it disappears in the presence of light. So why fear what has no power on its own? Debt has no real substance. It only appears to have weight because of how you think about it, talk about it, and emotionally react to it. In spiritual law, debt is an illusion magnified by attention. The more fear you give it, the more it grows, the more light you bring to it, truth, clarity, divine command, the faster it dissolves. Let this truth shake you awake. Debt doesn't bind you, belief does. Debt is simply a condition, a number, a piece of paper. It has no power except what you assign to it. What gives it strength is your voice. I'll never get out of this. I'm drowning in bills. It's too much. Every time you say those words, you breathe life into the shadow. You make it feel real. You give it roots. But what if you said something different? What if you spoke light instead of fear? This debt has no authority over me. By divine law, this debt is already paid in full. I walk in freedom, not bondage. I command this debt to dissolve. Do you feel that shift? That's not denial. That's dominion. That's not fantasy. That's faith in action. You are not meant to live chained to numbers on a screen. You are not created to serve interest rates and collectors. You were born to be a master of money, not a prisoner to it. And if debt is showing up in your life, it's not to punish you. It's a spiritual wake-up call asking, are you ready to reclaim your authority? Debt is a symptom, not a root. It's a result, not a curse. It reflects past choices, old beliefs, inherited patterns, and unconscious energy. But it can be reversed with spiritual clarity and command. First, stop speaking about debt as if it owns you. Words like I'm stuck, I can't breathe, or I'm buried, those are chains. You don't describe the mountain, you move it. You don't explain the darkness, you shine the light. From today forward, bless your debts. That sounds radical, right? But hear this. What you curse becomes heavier. What you bless becomes manageable, and eventually, miraculously resolved. Say to your debts, you served me once, and now I release you. You came to teach, and now I command you to leave. Divine abundance pays every debt under grace in perfect ways. You don't fight debt, you rise above it. You don't resist it, you replace it with truth. Spiritual law is always working. It's not waiting for the right mood, the right economy, or a perfect credit score. It's waiting for you to speak with authority, to stop rehearsing fear and start declaring freedom. Here's what most don't realize. Debt isn't only financial, it's energetic, emotional debt, guilt, shame, scarcity. All of that clings to you when you believe debt defines you. But you can cancel all of it by the spoken word backed by spiritual certainty. Yes, you may have to make payments. Yes, you may need to shift some behaviors. But none of that is hard when you do it from a place of power instead of panic. When you bless your bills, you transform your posture. Say this every time you pay one. Thank you, money, for being present again. I release this payment with peace. I expect multiplied returns. This transaction opens a new channel for income. Most people panic when they see a due date. But panic is not your advisor. Peace is. Your mind says, how am I going to pay this? But your higher self says, it is already paid in full by divine supply. I trust, I speak, I receive. Don't you realize? When you stand in fear, debt feels endless. But when you stand in truth, it loses its grip. It shrinks. It begins to disappear. Not always all at once, but piece, by spiritual law. Debt can't stay in the same space where gratitude, vision, and declaration live. So open your accounts, even if they scare you, and speak directly to them. I see you, I acknowledge you, and I command your release. Divine order is now established in this financial space. Money flows in faster than it goes out. I am now in surplus. What you face with faith, you conquer with ease. What you hide from, you feed in silence. Debt wants you silent, afraid, ashamed, but you weren't born to whisper. You were born to speak to the mountain and watch it move. Don't wait for debt to go down to feel free. Feel free first, and watch the numbers obey. When you walk in freedom, you magnetize solutions. You become a match for favor, forgiveness, supernatural provision. Doors open, ideas come, discounts appear, windfalls arrive. Why? Because the law responds to light, not fear. Debt is simply outdated energy asking to be transmuted. You don't need more stress. You need more spiritual clarity. You don't need punishment. You need a shift in perspective. You don't need to hustle harder. You need to declare louder. Say it boldly. I am not in debt. I am in transformation. Every amount I owe is already being resolved by spiritual law. I walk in financial resurrection. Debt is not my story. Abundance is. And don't compare your timeline to anyone else's. Divine timing works by precision, not pressure. Some debts vanish overnight. Some cancel in surprising ways. Some dissolve through joyful discipline. But in every case, the process begins the moment you speak with conviction. From today on, talk to your money as a friend. Talk to your debts as dust. Refuse to energize fear. Refuse to retell the old stories. Refuse to carry guilt. You are free now, not when the last balance hits zero, but now, because your spirit says so. What you call debt is just temporary form. What you carry inside is eternal power. And power always outruns paper. Faith always outranks fear. And light always cancels the shadow.